Hey everybody, Evie here. So, y'all voted, and the consensus is for some reason you want to hear about this indie show I'm trying to make. So, here I am to tell you about it. And also, sorry if you hear like little scratching noises and stuff as I'm recording. I'm also currently drawing something I plan to post on my channel before this video goes up because, yeah, just a little teaser image of something that one of the main villain has. One of the main villains, of what would be season 1 has. I'm not going to say his name or anything because I want that to be revealed over time. Anyways, so the name of my show is New Horizon, and the way I would describe it before I tell you what the story is going to be is basically it's like what if Detroit Become Human? It's such an underrated game, and honestly, if it got as much love as Dispatch did, it would have been the revival of Telltale games. I'm sorry, but Detroit Become Human walked, so yeah, Dispatch could run. And also, obviously, a lot of the old Telltale team members. But we're not here to talk about that, though I love Detroit Become Human. But it's like if Detroit Become Human and Batman Beyond basically had a baby, because like, like, um, Batman Beyond, it takes place in a very futuristic setting, and the city that this place in is also in New York, so the city's gonna look a lot like Neo Gotham. But the reason it's also like Detroit Become Human is because there's a lot of crime fighting aspects, and let me give you a bit of context before I delve into the main story. So, this takes place in the year 2088, and it's gotten to such a point in time with technology that it's expanded so much. Cyborgs are now common. There's thankfully, global warming has been reduced thanks to pollution being seriously reduced. Though we do see the effects of it in the show, as certain areas had to be evacuated due to flooding, and some of those flooded areas got turned into hydroelectric dams, or what I'm calling hydro cities. Basically, imagine artificial versions of Venice, Italy, cities built out on the water, and also they're chained to certain points underground underneath them, and also chained together. So yeah, and obviously you can't really use a car there. You can use bikes, you can use boats, and they're kind of they're at the phase past experimentation to now implementation. And a lot of people that go there, it's like people who live in Alaska. A lot of people are paid to go out there, or a lot of them are just kids who saved up a bunch of money with roommates. Like young adults, not kids. That Yeah, right now it's only really for adults as they have yet to build the first school in Hydro Cities. A lot of people in Hydro Cities take online classes or they take boats back to the mainland. Or some are close enough to cities where they have bridges and you can take a bus back and forth there. But yeah, so we're gonna see the effects of it, but also see the major effects of technology. Like laws had to be made that were passed where certain jobs just couldn't basically entry level jobs could not be replaced by robots and AI because everyone deserves a chance to get employment. It's called the Fair Chance Act or something. I don't know. I'll have to look up to see if there's any acts already with that name. But I mean, a lot of acts in the countries and just in the U.S. alone do have similar names, or maybe it was an amendment to the Bill of Rights. So yeah, Enter Horizon, which is a government it's a lot like Overwatch, but it wasn't created in the middle of a crisis. I mean, it kind of was, but not during a war against robots or Omnics, as they're called in Overwatch. But basically, as the United States government response to, all this tech-related crime. And they were made about 20 years before the main story, so in the year 2068, yeah. And yeah, Horizon's main thing is they're an agency specifically meant to deal with all this, cybercrime, tech crime, crimes with cyborgs, with illegal enhancements, robots, all that jazz, because it was just too much for the CIA, FBI, NSA, all that, because they already had all their own stuff they were bothered with. And on top of that, and I mean, a lot of those agencies right now in the present and even in that time do still deal with a lot of tech related crime, but they needed an agency specifically for it. And Horizon has slightly gone international, as there are a few agencies, HQs in Canada and Mexico, but that's just because they're the closest countries and they kind of asked for Horizon's help after seeing how successful they were. So it is slowly going international. Anyways, so yeah, but as I said, it takes place in New York. I'm not sure what the name of the city's gonna be yet. Or actually, you know what? Let me just use the city where I was born in. Well, not the city I was born in, but actually, never. It's based in New York, but they also they're based in New York mostly, but their main HQ is actually in New Jersey, Elizabeth. That's where I was born. I just that's where their main HQ is in New Jersey, but they operate a lot in New York because and if anyone's wondering why are these big metropolitan places always usually the places where crime happens, well, bigger populations, and it's statistically proven. I'm a criminal justice student, so I'm right when I talk about this stuff. It's statistically proven that these areas tend to have bigger concentrations of crime. Not to say rural areas don't have crime, it's just more common in big cities because bigger population, access to a lot more resources, easier to hide. Well, I mean, some places are easier to hide than others, and usually those places also have bigger police forces. Rural areas, they obviously have a lot of crime too, but it's different types of crime. And, big cities obviously are going to be like the main hubs for, all this tech and stuff. Plus, it's New York, they have their ports, they have all that. It's New Jersey. A lot of the story is going to take place in the New England area. Obviously, they are going to go outside the city, so don't worry, it's not all going to be in New York, but in New Jersey. So yeah, their main HQ is in New Jersey, Elizabeth. I decided that right now. Add it to the lore books, and no, I don't live in New Jersey anymore. I haven't lived there since I was like a baby because my parents moved down south, like when I was like a year old. So yeah, you're not gonna find AV Rebound if you go searching in New Jersey, but yeah. So Horizon's whole deal is that they're supposed to take care of tech-related crime, and it's gotten to a point where they've noticed certain activities that's way too organized to be random, so they realize there's someone behind it. Someone's giving cyborgs illegal enhancements of military-grade level, so that's something that's going to be important in this series, the cybernetic grading system. Normal prosthetics like what we have now still exist, but due to the advancements of cybernetics, they've become much cheaper, and usually for people, especially kids, before they get cybernetics, if they can afford them. There are like more affordable ones, is that they start out with prosthetics just to get used to it before moving on to cybernetics. And there's medical/civilian grade, which anyone who needs them can get with special discounts for children, veterans, the elderly, and people who lost them in severely horrific incidents. Because there's a chance of people that are just born without limbs. Some people lose them to disease, things like that. But if you say you lost it in a fire or a bomb or something like that, then usually you'll get it for a discounted price. And or if you go to work for those companies, they'll give you limbs that you can basically work off the difference. It's not like super expensive, but you can do things like that. And you can get, that's basically an employee benefit now. Work for us and we'll give you a brand new shiny metal arm, top of the line. And then there is defense grade, where basically those are limbs where if you get a permit for it, you can put like low grade weapons in there, like a knife. You can put a taser. If you're someone who works with tools, you can put tools in the fingers. And the reason why even just things for say a mechanic just wants to put tools in their fingers is because if it can be considered a weapon, it has to go in defense grade. So even athletes, because of how powerful those limbs would have to be to handle the strain that athletes put on themselves, they go in defense grade. And finally is the rarest grade is military grade. And basically you have to be in the military or the government to get these, with all kinds of special permits and training. Is basically stuff that gives you superpowers, like super strength, or in the case of the main team, who I'll get into in a second, gravity manipulation, super speed, light manipulation, specifically with hard light constructs, and kind of like Symmetra from Overwatch. Actually, there's going to be a lot of comparisons to Overwatch, and also hydrokinesis for the main team. And yeah, so the team name is the Soldiers, and no, it's not soldiers, it's solders, like soldering. One of my friends, who I'm probably going to be mentioning a lot in this, came up with the idea, and I'm like, okay, that's their team name, it is perfect. So yeah, 4 cyborgs and a robot, and the second robot that joins in. So let me get into the main team first before I talk about the robots. So yeah, the main team, the Soldiers, are just 4 Horizon agents. 1 who was in the Air Force before going to Horizon, 1 who just joined Horizon straight off the bat, 1 who worked in law enforcement for a while before getting a promotion and went to go work for Horizon, and 1 who went to the military to be a combat medic and decided to also go to Horizon, just to learn more about how to care for cyborgs and stuff like that. So yeah, all 4 of them, join Horizons at different points in time and for different reasons, but more or less, to help people and fight crime. And they were all chosen for specific reasons, and they knew the risk. Like they didn't get it forced on them to lose their limbs. Like they chose and they knew the consequences. So yeah, I'm not going to get into their names or anything yet, because I want to wait until I get some more promotional material out first. Anyways, now onto the robots. So Horizon has a specific model of robots known as HBRs, Horizon Battle Robots. And basically, they're built for combat. They're usually very small and compact, and there's going to be 3 main ones, 2 of which are on the team. There is Very, or HBR-V-12, and the reason she's named Very is because one of the members wanted to name her that. They wanted to call her something that wasn't just a string of numbers, and the others liked it because it sounded like a real name and because the stuff she does varies. But they treat her like an actual member of the team, and over time she does get a bit more sentient and stuff, and yeah, so Very, she joins the team from the start just to give him a little extra firepower and stuff, and yeah. And then there's another one who joins later on when the team really needs another team member because an incident happens where they really need it. They need the extra power. Is Slipstream, who's a little different in model, and I am gonna add their drawings here, so don't worry. But Slipstream, he is not as combat oriented as Very. He is he's more of a he's a aerial model, a drone model. So that's why he has a name from the start. Because similar to pilots in the Air Force and also a lot of secret agents, he's given a call sign, code name, whatever you want to get into it. Because it's easier just to call them by their call signs than oh HBR da 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 is up in the air, stuff like that. So he'll join a little later on after an incident, like I think in the third arc of the story. Is it arc 2 or arc 3? I don't know. I'll have to consult my outline later just to be sure. So yeah. So the soldiers basically they go out and they fight tech related crimes, specifically trying to hunt down this one organization that's clearly behind a lot of it. And yeah, their first major mission that's connected to taking out an organization is after they catch a group of illegally enhanced cyborgs. They have military grade stuff. They realize, oh, yeah, we now know where one of the people are. Basically, this rich lady who goes by the lady, who is running an illegal cyborg fighting arena, and you can go. She gets money from that, but also some other stuff. She's very rich, and anyone she deems worthy, she'll offer to have them work for her in exchange for those enhancements, or work for her and her associates. She's like not the main backer of this. She's just one of the rich backers. Almost everyone in this group is pretty rich. Yeah, so that's what would be the first arc. They take down the cyborg ring, and then from there we get to see some other missions that they do while some people in Horizon specifically try to crack the files that they got from the lady. They help a Hydro City that needs to be evacuated due to a storm. They take out a drug smuggling ring. They deal with these two robot criminals that come to the city because they were hired to do a job there. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. And why am I making this, you may be wondering? Because it's a cool idea that just popped into my head, and I just want to make the kind of story I would love. And also, now that, I'm a criminal justice student and I'm leaning more into that aspect of the story, and with how much technology is improving right now, I think this is a good kind of story we want. I mean, we've seen tons of stories about fighting crime, but I don't think we've ever had a fight fire with fire thing like this. I mean, I guess the closest thing you could say we have are things like the iRobot movie. I don't know about the book. I haven't read it. I just know it's drastically different. And also Detroit Become Human, but this is different. It's kind of a superhero story, but they're on the leash of a government agency. I mean, Horizon has a bit more freedom compared to other government agencies, considering, they have some international branches and they mainly deal with tech crime. They're very essential. And yeah, that's why I'm making this. Like season 1, I just wanted to make a really cool story and also just, show how, yeah, technology can be a good thing, but too much of a good thing turns bad very quickly, as history will show you, especially in criminal justice. Like every time we invent a new technology or something, new crime pops up. I mean, that's just statistics and sadly history. And yeah, and then the potential season 2 when I get there. I'm not going to say if when it comes to the series. I'm just going to say when, because look, right now is a great time if you're trying to make indie stuff, whether it's a comic, a show, even a game. I see so many amazing fan games out here. I mean, I'm literally helping with one. Check out Where There's Light There's Shadow, seriously. And yeah, so now's a really good time to do it. And I'm not aiming to get picked up by Glitch Productions. I mean, I would be ecstatic, but if Lackadaisy has taught me anything, you can be self-sustaining for a long time before some big production company comes and picks you up. And to be fair, Lackadaisy has been around longer than Glitch as a whole, but still. So I'm not banking on that. I would love it and I really hope it happens, but I'm going to try to be self-sustaining. And to that end, I'm not going to be searching for voice actors right now because I want to get a team together of artists. And for the type of art style that I am going for, I was at first leaning on 2D, but then I talked to my friends Fountain and Froggy. Fountain was the one who came up with the name The Soldiers, but they made me realize a 3D style would be better, especially for a sci-fi show, because there's gonna be so much like tech stuff. It's just better and easier because you can just model everything and then you can keep things consistent much easier. But also because if you've seen games like Ultra Kill, I've gotten really into that kind of low poly style, and it looks so good. So basically, the art style I'm going for is basically Ultra Kill, just a lot less bloody. So something like that, very low poly. Well, it's not super low poly 3D style. So what kind of artist will I be needing? Well, I will be needing Animators, I'll be needing promo artists, I'll be needing concept artists, storyboard artists, editors, and maybe some musicians. Because while I have made some music for myself for this show, I would definitely need a couple more. And also, promo artists I won't really need as much because I've already been making my own artwork and promotional work. So obviously, if anyone on the team comes up with an idea, let's go for it. But a lot of how the promo art I'm thinking is going to work, I'll come up with something like a poster I made for two of the bad guys, and then like, okay, here it is, turn it into the show's art style, and bada bing, bada boom. So that's the kind of director I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be as involved as I can in everything. I mean, I already am gonna be because I'll be making promo art. I plan to voice one of the characters in the show. She's not a main character, but she's just an antagonist and one of my favorite characters in the show, so that's why I'm voicing her. Plus, it saves a slot on a voice actor because this is going to be a pretty big cast already. So if I can save any slots on people that, obviously, if I do hand out a role to a friend, it's because they actually fit the voice and are a good voice actor and they have like a good mic and stuff. Like, I'm not going to just give someone a role because we're friends. Thankfully, a lot of my friends are voice actors and very talented. So yeah, if any of my friends are watching this and you're voice actors, talk to me and maybe we can figure out a role for you. I'd love to go ahead and save up some VA slots, but so far it's just me, and then I have a friend who wants to try out a voice for the lady. So if that works out, then that'll be two voices down. And yeah, so I'm going to be very involved. So yeah, that's season one. Season two is going to be a mind control story alongside giving me an excuse to just rag on private prisons because private prisons are like up there with like certain illegal substances with being from the devil. I mean, they're honestly the worst thing ever. I mean, yeah, they're prisons, but they care more about profits than the goals of the criminal justice system, which are retribution, rehabilitation, deterrence, and crud. I always forget the other two. Deterrence. Yeah, but like the main goals of a prison are rehabilitation, retribution, and deterrence, obviously. But a private prison is literally the worst thing. It's one thing when private companies are used, like the two big groups are Aramark and Geo Group, when providing food or medical care, because that's just offsetting some of the cost. But when they get to own an entire prison, it becomes the worst thing ever. So season one is me just making a story that I think is really cool. And also just, yeah, tech can be good, but also really bad if you don't use it right. And then season two is literally just a mind control story where I get to rag on the private prison system. And yeah, I already actually have all of season two planned out because my other friend Froggy, really, really nice dude, really talented, good buddy of mine. But he had a character when we were talking about season two that was really fitting. I was like, oh, should I ask him if I can use her? And then he literally said before it could even think to ask is like, hey, by the way, if you want to use my character because she's super fitting, you can. We're friends. I trust you. And then like 6 hours later, like way early into the morning, we we had all of season two planned. I still have to outline it, but yeah, I'll do that once season one is closer to being completed. But yeah, that's my indie show. Right now, I'm probably gonna make the casting call sometime in February for artists and stuff because I still need to finish up some designs for the main cast and also plan out some other stuff. Like I want to go ahead and like make some promotional work. But yeah, so that's my show, A New Horizon. I'm trying to make it, and at the moment, this would be an unpaid project. I'm sorry, I'm in college, and all the money that I have saved up currently is just for me. But I probably will try to do like streams just to get the money. I might also start a Kickstarter campaign, and that's part of why I'm making stuff like this. So once I start asking for like money and stuff, you can see this is a legit thing that I'm trying to make. It's not a scam. Like I know there's a lot of scams on Kickstarter, sadly, but this is not going to be a scam, okay? I mean, you can trust me. I really am trying to make this show. So yeah, if you're an artist, get ready, get your portfolio ready. Specifically a 3D artist, though I guess some 2D artwork would happen more for promotional stuff and maybe backgrounds. I'll have to see once we get there. Probably talk to my friends. They know more about the 3D stuff than me. But yeah, if you were one of the people that voted for this and are watching this now, or just someone who's like, oh, what's this? She's trying to make an indie show. Thank you for watching, and I have a lot more planned for this show. I am going to get this out. I'm going to, at the very least, work to get the pilot out, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to do what I can to get funding for the whole crew, whether it's the artist all the way to the voice actors whenever we get there. If I plan to make a YouTube channel as well, and whenever that channel hits, the threshold to where we can get we can start getting monetized. Whatever money we earn from ad revenue is only going to go into paying the cast and crew. Because my own channel, that money, whatever I get from there, that goes towards like my gas and other things I need. And I might set aside a little bit of it for A New Horizon whenever we get to there. I'll also have to talk to the crew on like, hey, what do you want? What do you think would be fair rates to pay you all for your work? I'll have to see. I am brand new to all this, but I'm going to try because I want to make this story. I think it's going to be good. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'd love to make a part 2 to this video where I could answer questions or just talk about it a little more, maybe share some of the designs I have, and also maybe talk about some of the characters. I just really wanted to get this video out and talk about my show idea because I want to make this, and I think it's gonna be great. You know, whether I get picked up by Glitch Productions or we end up becoming a self-sustaining thing. I'm gonna make this or die trying or something. That was a joke. I'm not gonna kill myself over this, or like kill myself working. YouTube, that was a joke. Please don't demonetize this video. Yeah. Okay. Before I keep rambling for too long, because this video is already going to be like 20 minutes long. Yeah, that's my show. I hope you all stick around. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer them in a part 2 alongside sharing some of my designs. So comment down below. Bye.